Hey, Total Soccer Show listeners, this is Daryl. What you're about to hear is an episode of the Best Soccer Show. That's right, Jason and Jared got the band back together this evening and did a call-in show. So why is it in our feed, you might ask? Well, as I've said before, I have a lot of respect for both of these guys, and I know there's a lot of crossover in our listenership, so I wanted to make sure that we helped get this show in people's ears. Also, now, even more than ever, independent media has to stick together. I haven't heard the show yet, but Jason tells me there's more than a little swearing, so just want to make sure to note at the top of the show here to make sure everybody is forewarned. Okay, over to, I believe, Sean Connery, and then Jason and Jared.
You sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the Best Soccer Show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the Best Soccer Show. Jason Davis, Jared DuBois. Man, it feels good to do that. I needed to pick me up. We are live.
You sounded so pretty with that.
Oh my God.
It sounded so pretty. I think I felt my jeans move.
I have a rush, right? Like seriously, that is it's been so long. Did
you even think about it, or did it just come naturally when you heard the music and stuff?
I actually thought about it today. I was like, I'm going to get to say it again. And I knew it was going to be awkward and weird and different than what it's been before. And this isn't this isn't like the old days. We can't recapture the glory days, Jared, but we're here for a very important reason. Actually, we're here because Jared DuBois said he wanted to do a show, and I love it. I love that you reached out. I love that you said, I don't just screw it. Let's do a show because this is what the people need right now, right? This is what the people need.
Dude, I feel like we may be one of the last vestiges of salvation that a U.S. soccer fan has right now. And here's I'll get it out right away. U.S. never failed to qualify for a World Cup when the Best Soccer Show was around, right?
This is true.
It may be our fault, but I'm just saying that whose fault really is the advertisers who didn't give us enough money to ever do this professionally. That's their fault.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Somebody's like, "Oh, I want to grow old listening to the Best Soccer Show," and I thought to myself, that would be a lovely thing if only somebody was smart enough to give us, and we're not asking for a truckload. You know what? I would be happy with
I'm asking for truckload.
I'd be happy with a Volkswagen Bug full of cash to do this show, or I don't know, a Pinto or something like that. Like I could do with that. I'm not going to be greedy. I want to serve the people and talk about soccer.
Dude, our people are hurting, Jason.
People are hurting, and
dude, the only word that really actually like captures my feeling in the cloud that I've been in for the last almost 24 hours, almost exactly right now.
Yeah,
it's just darkness.
Let me see what I got here.
Darkness, everybody! Darkness, everybody!
There it is.
It's just so much darkness around me, dude. And here's what sucks. Here's what sucks for every one of our listeners right now. Every one of our listeners is the soccer guy at their work.
Yep.
They're the soccer guy.
Yep.
I guarantee you, or the soccer lady at their work. Okay? And every one of us, are we cussing on the show, by the way?
Fuck it, I don't care.
Every one of those motherfuckers hit us up today and said, "What happened to your team?"
Yeah, you can't. By the way, you can't expect us to be clean today. The day after the U.S. men's national team missed the World Cup for the first time since 1986. I know I just said freaking, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's not going to come naturally. You're going to have to push me a little bit. But anyway, I don't want to get gratuitous with it. I just want to point out that if we do curse, there's a very, very good reason for it. This is
worst night ever.
I mean, that was so bad last night. I could not believe what was happening, Jared. I could not believe that the United States not only couldn't find a way to beat Trinidad, but Panama was coming back and Honduras was coming back, and it was
the amount of Keystone Cop follies that had to occur to get all this aligned for our fate to happen is still astonishing to me when I think about it. Yeah. When you think about a non-goal called as a goal in one game, and you have a ricochet off the noggin of a keeper in another goal, and you have a freak own goal with Mr. Omar Agus in our game last night, there are it couldn't just be like a quick machete to the neck. It had to be like this. It had to be this torturous thing of all these low percentage chances coming to fruition. You couldn't just lop me off at the head. Give me like Ned Stark style and just put me out of my misery with class and honor. No, you had to make it hurt.
Mm-hmm. It was bad. It was. By the way, I'm looking at the board. I have the board up, right? And I just played a couple of things that we've added because, last night was.
You know what really sucks though? What? Everything.
There it is.
J. Rodius.
I gotta break the seal on that. But all these other ones, I mean, look, I got some pop culture ones, Jared, that are fine, that I could drop in. But I also have a lot of like good time. I have this one. Dude, I don't want to play that. That doesn't.
That has no place in our world. That has no place in our world. It is incredible. I'm not gonna lie. The situation is incredible, but not in a joyous way that Ian Dark makes it sound.
By the way,
but
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. You're getting your stuff.
You know who one of the only guys on Twitter that was getting it right last night when I was reading out like former players? Eddie Johnson.
Yeah, really.
Eddie Johnson was getting it right last night on Twitter.
Okay. I mean, Eddie speaks the truth. I'll give Eddie credit for that. By the way, we have our phone lines open. 703, what is the number? I can't remember. 703 something. 703-483-9409. And we've got a number.
If they're watching the stream, it's on the screen.
Yeah, it's on the screen. I got a call from a 703 number. Who's this?
This is actually Charles from Alabama. I called you the other day.
Okay. You called who the other day?
You didn't call me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm not being clear. I called you, Jason, on Stars and Stripes after.
Oh, okay. He's a Sirius XM listener, Jared.
That's okay, baby. That's okay. You got the appetizer. Now you got the main course. What you want to talk about?
First of all, I found your podcast a couple of years ago on iTunes, and I really dug it. And then I didn't know what happened, and then you went to Sirius XM, which is awesome, and I dropped my subscription, and I didn't have a chance to listen to. I think I haven't heard this podcast before, but just to give you props before I go into what I'm going to. I'm a digger style, man, and and the things you guys talk about are really important. So.
Okay, I appreciate the call. What else? I mean, give me your
How do you
your
feel,
emotion.
man? How do you feel?
This is going to be a catharsis here. And if you need to rage. If you need to cry.
What's my man's name? What's my man's name?
Charles.
Charles. This is a safe place.
Go for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's a safe
Charles,
place.
this is a safe place. You can talk to us here, okay? No one's going to judge you here. You're not at work where you're the soccer guy and everyone's making fun of you today. This is a safe place. Well, how do you feel right now, my man?
So first of all, for anybody that wants to make fun of soccer people, they can walk on, because I have no time for it. It's a great game. If any football player, a baseball player really wants to make fun of soccer, they don't know anything about it. I've played all of the sports. It's a fantastic sport. I have no problems being a soccer guy. That's number one. Number two, how do I feel? I mean, obviously I feel awful, but part of me is like a little bit relieved. My point to Jason on Stars and Stripes after the game was, and I was definitely in the minority in this, and I could be a poor analysis, but I thought outside of the goals that we scored, like our overall play wasn't that good. That's what I thought. When I watched the game yesterday, when I watched Trinidad play in the first half, I'm like, I look at their style, if you will. I'm like, man, that's pretty enjoyable to watch. When I watch the U.S. play, that typically doesn't happen. Here's the point that I want to make. And Jason, I listened to your whole show on demand this afternoon. I thought it was great. One of the things you were asking on the show was, what are some changes that we can make? How can we justify spending a lot of money on the little kids as opposed to maybe some kids that are ready right now? I don't have an answer for you for that. But again, this is the same point that I brought up the other night. It's the point that I want to make now. I feel like we would do very well as a country if we walked away, if we took a step back from only thinking about the results, which I know is hard as Americans, just in general. But if we could walk away from games and say, you know what, we wanted to see this, and this, and they happened, and yeah, we lost, or, when we were trying to build up, somebody gave the ball away, or, the six thought that the three was going to play in the ball, and it never happened, and it was a transition goal, and that's what led to their goal. if people can walk away and say, yeah, but we had these things in our game plan in terms of what we were going to do with the ball, and we tried to do them, and maybe we failed to do them, but we still made that effort. I feel like results will get better, and not only that, the quality of the game will get better. And just for me personally, I'd really like to see
Charles. Let me ask you a question, Charles. I'm getting the feeling from the sound of your voice. You're probably on the younger side. How old are you, Charles?
I'm 30.
Oh, you're 30? Oh, man, you're man. I hope you look like you sound, man, because you're gonna have a wonderful life with young ladies involved. So,
thank you.
Here's what bothers me when I watched last night. I grew up on a gritty American. Who cares how much talent we have? We're going to find a way to win type of team, and that's what's so frustrating about watching what I saw last night, and maybe even over the course of the Hex, is that I didn't see a fire like this is like, holy crap, this is on the line kind of thing. I didn't see a win at any cost mentality. I didn't see guys running their head through brick walls. Obviously, that's an unfortunate analogy now with all the concussions in the game, but you get what I mean. I didn't see, and I put this out last night, I didn't see Deuce last night.
Yeah.
I saw a dude named Clint.
Yeah. Hey, Charles, I'm going to let you go because I got somebody. Go ahead.
May I respond to that?
Very quickly. Go ahead.
Exactly. All right. So here's my response to that. You had John Harkes on your show this afternoon, Jason. I feel like when people make that argument, and I would agree with you, there was not enough fire. But you're not doing John Harkes and Eddie Pope and Tom Rebos and Eddie Lewis, who was a great name job, Steve Trundolo. Those soccer players on the field, yes, they were gritty soccer players, but they were good with the ball, and they valued it. It's like this gap in between those guys that came on and pushed the game into the next level, and then after them, it's like something happened, and it's like this disconnect. Yes, we need that heart and hustle, but there's also the side with the ball that we're missing, and I feel like we as fans and hopefully as pundits, although it's not my job to speak for you, but certainly as a fan, I wish that other side would get remembered and be prioritized again.
Okay.
Because John, he was my coach at one point. I got to play with him. He's a fantastic soccer player.
Thanks for the call, Charles. I want to get to as many people as possible tonight, so I'm going to let you go. Let's go to...
Yeah, we may have to go a little bit more rapid fire that, too. Yeah. And also for the guys out there listening, ladies out there listening that maybe want to call in, I am interested, too. What was your day at work like today?
Yeah, all of that. 682, you're on the air. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
So, hey, man, excuse me for my voice. I'm kind of losing my voice, but I guess I want to talk about what Jared was just saying about, the day at work today. And I kind of feel like, I'm like the players let me down personally. And what I mean by that is, like what Jared was talking about, like you're the soccer guy at work. I kind of feel like through this whole adventure over the past how many ever years that the USA soccer fan is kind of part of the team. Like we're not, there's nothing, I will never come close to the amount of sacrifice and blood, sweat, and tears that the players have put in. But I do feel like there is a burden to being the soccer guy at work, to being the fan, to having to constantly justify the team and the sport and always believing and getting behind the team and always supporting them. And I felt like when I saw a team last night that didn't care, I feel like they owe me something. Like they let me personally down. Does that make any sense?
No, man.
I feel you on that because here's what last night's event took away from me. And there's a ton of different people out there going to feel the same way I do right now. Jason, you're in the same scenario as well. I have a 7-year-old son and I have a 4-year-old son.
Right.
Excuse me, 4-year-old son. And sometimes I have to remember if he's mine or not. I lost an opportunity he'll be 8 when the World Cup comes around next summer. 8 years old is a magical time. It's this time where they're old enough to comprehend and they're young enough that they still want to do something with their dad.
Yeah.
I'm worried that 5 years from now, I'm going to have a 12-year-old that's not going to want to sit down and watch this with me.
I'm with you. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to let you go. I want to make sure I get to as many people as possible. So here, just real quick, here's the call-in rules, okay? If I answer the call, it doesn't mean we're talking to you right away, so kind of hold out for me. And if I drop you, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to get to as many people as possible, okay? So just Everybody bear with me as I juggle this stuff. Let me go to 810. Who's this?
This is Gabe.
What's up, Gabe? How do you feel, man? Give me your emotions.
I'm crushed. I did the math today. I'm 21 years old. I probably have 15 of these World Cups left. I'm missing one. And I have drank the last 2 nights because of this team. Wow. And today at work, I just immersed myself in, I listened to every podcast that came out. I've been looking forward to this one all day, but I'm crushed at losing out.
Let me ask you a question, okay? So do you think, and Jared, I'll actually ask you this too, and let's make this old school. Do you think it's better for people to do what my man Gabe did and sort of listen to all the podcasts, all of the postmortems, all of the autopsies of what happened and why it happened, and our youth structure sucks, and Neil Galati needs to go? Or do you think we should go relive the good times and hit YouTube and watch the Algeria, the Donovan goal against Algeria and 2002?
I'm a bit of a dweller, and like, for example, I'm hesitant to even say this, but you know when bad tragedies happen in the news or like that, and this is not a bad tragedy, it's just something that sucks, okay? But you almost feel comforted by just immersing yourself in whatever the news is or the whatever's going on as a group catharsis almost. Yeah. I tend not to listen to any podcast or anything like that because I enjoy having my own thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I know from time to time, there's only a couple people that read my Twitter, and luckily today I seem to have a podcast tonight I can talk on. It's something I got in the habit of doing years ago when Jason and I did a show 2 times a week, is that I didn't listen to anything else because I wanted to make sure I wasn't ever accidentally copying something I heard from someone else. Yeah. If I ever repeat something you've seen in the media in the last 24 hours, it's just because I happen to say something similar. Yeah. But that's just me. I try to be original. I want to have my own thoughts. I want to have my own opinions. So I don't do it with soccer, but I totally understand someone who is, because you don't want to feel alone today.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, You know
what really sucks, though? What? Everything.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's how I obviously I do radio for a living now, and I get to talk out all this stuff, and I understand why you need to get on the air tonight, Jared. I'm glad I'm here with you. And hopefully we can give people a place to vent. All right, I think I've got 2 new calls on with me, but let's go to 517 first. Who's that?
Hey, this is Ty Shelter.
Ty, what's going on, man?
Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller, gentlemen. I just got back from the bar. We had an old watch party crew. Couple of guys moved out of the town, Lansing, Michigan here. A couple of guys moved on, but, we all got together. We just had a wake for the U.S. men's national team at a bar. Somebody happened to be back in town. We were talking about, for the Portugal game in Brazil, we had like 350 people in like a library basement on a projector screen. Yeah, and we're just mourning the loss of opportunity for kids, for these foundational experiences. I brought my kids. I don't think my youngest remembers. I know my older 2 do, but this is like an 8-year sweep of people to fall in love with this game, to fall in love with this team, and just losing that opportunity. That is really the biggest crime in all of this.
Ty, let me ask you a question about that. You're having this wake, and I get it, and we're disappointed. We're all disappointed. We've skirted this line for too long, haven't we? Like, isn't this something that was coming to us? Didn't we always feel that there was this underlying current of we keep getting lucky, we keep finding ways out of things? Even at the World Cups, we made it in 2002 to the quarterfinals, but through to the second round out of the group stage by. Just like we almost did last night by backdooring our way through other results. This is something that we last-minute goals and stuff like that, which we go in, then we get in our soapbox like, it's so American, we fought to the end. But we really almost lost it till the end. And isn't that almost indicative of what we did in this Hex series?
Well, this is what we lost, because for me, I fell in love with the sport in the 2010 World Cup. And I went and I thought, for me, the World Cup, seeing the expression of each country's individual brand of soccer. And I was like, okay, what is the U.S. men's national team? We're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger, we're better conditioned. We go hard from the opening kick till the end of regulation, through the end of the stoppage time, maybe we don't know what we're doing. And maybe the coach's kid starts every game and finishes every game when he shouldn't. And the coach didn't play himself. But isn't that the purest expression of American soccer? That's when we show up and we do that and we go hard and we go through effort and conditioning and we beat everybody through sheer force of will. And if we're not good enough, so what? We're not good enough. At least we gave it our all. And this entire cycle, there's just disinterest and arrogance and assumption that it was our right to get to the hex and it was our right to get through the hex. And a bunch of guys just weren't engaged in this. And like, this isn't the U.S. men's national team that I fell in love with. And this isn't the effort that I'm used to seeing from this team. And maybe we have to go back to this underdog mentality, but then we have these world-class players. We have these professional players. We have these guys making millions of dollars. We have the talent. And it feels like it's both things at the same time. We've solved all the problems that we always had for years, but then now we have new problems where we don't attack every single opportunity to get the most out of it.
Appreciate the call, Ty. I want to get to some other people, but yeah, I mean, that Jared, I remember doing this show, and during the Jurgen Klinsmann era, we talked about this. How often do we talk about this? How often do we talk about the mentality?
A lot, dude.
The identity of the club, the team, or rather, the thing that made them who they were was lost. And Bruce Arena couldn't get it back, and he wasn't good enough to get it back. And this is on him too. And certainly we should be throwing a lot of shade on the legacy of Bruce Arena, because nobody else has ever overseen missing out on a World Cup when we had professional players, when we had guys in Europe, when we had the talent to beat Trinidad and friggin' Tobago. Okay, come on.
Yeah, and I'll say one other thing. Now that I'm doing the math, I think Landon Donovan was born right around 1981. 82. I would say somewhere around there.
He's an 82 baby, but go ahead.
Okay. So he would have turned 5 and started playing first level of AYSO soccer in 1987. That means the moment Landon Donovan touched the ball, we were on the track back into the World Cup. And that means the moment he stopped touching a ball and retired, we lost it.
You know what? There's something there. Let's go to 607. Who's that?
Hey, guys. This is Jackson. I just don't know how to explain this to people, and you're right, Jared. I'm the soccer guy at work. What happened? Where's the NIT? Blah. How do I explain this to people? I don't know. It's like when the World Cup comes around every 4 years. You struggle to explain that to people. It's like the pinnacle. It's like Christmas. You wait 4 years for this. Now, how do I explain missing out on it? I don't know how to do it.
I mean, look, this is one of the things, Jared. This is when you talked about being the soccer guy at work, and there's a lot of people out there who are the soccer guy or the soccer girl at work. There's some people who actually get lucky and have some friends they can talk to. But the problem is having to say to somebody else, we suck this bad. This is how bad we suck right now. Okay, we are not good enough to get out of CONCACAF. We are worse than Panama and Honduras. Costa Rica and Mexico, okay, fine, I get it. Panama and friggin' Honduras. And it feeds into all of that stuff we've been fighting for the last 25 years, right? That Americans can't play soccer. And you know what? I know there are good soccer players in the United States, and Americans who are playing abroad, and I know we're going to be fine eventually, and maybe this is all going to be good, but that sucks, man. To have to say to somebody, you know what, we're not in the World Cup, and they're going to say, well, why not? And you say, because we suck? Because we're not good enough?
Yeah, that's the only questions I get today. What happened? What happened? I mean, like, how do you explain what happened? Do you got an hour? I mean, because even I can tend to spend an hour talking to you about what happened, and I might still not be right. I don't know. I haven't even got to the point, and I know, Jason, probably all day long, last night and today on your show, you probably had to deal with where do we go from here. I haven't even got to that point yet.
I know.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell I woke up like this still.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about what to do to fix it. I don't have a clue what to do to fix it. All I know is that this sucked.
Yeah,
and it was what I saw out there was a bastardized version of what I think of when I think of American team. I don't mind a bucket team that works for 90 minutes. I don't mind that. Is it satisfying? Not too much, but I can find something American in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this game. Your men are brutish and their play is ugly.
Yeah. there it is. Let's go to.
I don't know. I know everyone thinks like, oh, we need to start playing more creatively, and that's why we brought the Jurgen Klinsmann in. That's fine and good and all, but it has to be results driven still.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. 832, you're on the air.
Hi, I was just going to add into what Jared was saying that in people, I'm the soccer girl at work, so people are like, what happened? I was like, I don't have an hour. I was like, I have more than 2 hours. You want to sit and talk about it, but you can't really explain it.
No.
Yeah, you go back and say, have you ever heard of a time, there was this moment in 2006, where Bruce Arena didn't take Taylor Twellman, he took Brian Ching instead.
Yeah.
I think it all stems from that. Do you have 2 hours for me to tell you that got from
you know
here
what?
to there?
It's about
Steve
it's
Stampson. Funny because I'm describing us in the World Cup as to, I have the same feeling when Jurgen didn't take Donovan.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if it's the right to compare, but you feel like that emptiness, like, wow, it's like you sit there and you're like, what happened?
You know what annoys me? And this is true on the radio. Trying to pick between terrible ass excuses, terrible ass subjects, terrible ass discussions. Bruce Arena didn't get us to the World Cup. Oh, he sucks. And I get all these people saying, oh, we shouldn't have fired a Klinsmann. You got Klinsmann fired. It's your fault that we're in where we are. And even if they're not saying it's my fault, they're saying the media did this, the media did that. Klinsmann had us doing X, Y, or Z. And you know what? First of all, I don't buy that for a second. Second of all, that's a sucky ass thing to have to debate. Whether or not Bruce Arena was worse than Jurgen Klinsmann. Right now, seriously, do we want to talk? Is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah, that's like debating between like condoms and like I don't know, some other kind of word, like birth certificate control that feels terrible. Like I don't want to do either one.
Oh, man. I actually probably should have dropped it at Jay Rodius. But if you don't listen to Slav Culture, go back in time and listen to some old Slav Cultures for some references.
Oh, yeah. There's some talk about that, yeah. But to go back to her point, and dang it, I'm losing now what I was going to say about that. But, to go back to the Jurgen Klinsmann thing, the Bruce Arena thing, it was right to fire Jurgen Klinsmann. It was right to hire Bruce Arena.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Yeah, right.
That we were in both of those scenarios. In the grand scheme of things, that's the problem, that those were both the right answers. That we were in a scenario where Jurgen Klinsmann was there performing poorly and we had to get rid of him and eat $4 million or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was now. And then the other problem is that it was the right answer to grab Bruce Arena for a short-term stint. Yeah. The problem is that we were in that position.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the analysis part of this is choosing between terrible things. Let's go to 714. Who's that?
Hey, this is Dan. I'm probably older than most of your listeners. I'm 48, and I remember the 86 qualifying. I remember watching, Caligiuri score on ESPN in '89. So, I remember that specifically, and I remember how bad the '90 team was, and I remember how bad the '94 team was. I mean, yeah, they moved forward, but they really weren't that talented. So to think that this team couldn't qualify for the World Cup is unbelievable.
I
mean, these guys have talent that far exceeded the 90 and 94 team.
Well, I will say this.
And not exactly, look,
Dan, let me just throw in
the resources that we have.
Yeah, Dan, let me throw in.
Sure.
Look, that's true. It is true, okay? I do think that it's important to sort of point out that everybody else got better. And let's not take anything away from Panama and Honduras. Certainly Costa Rica has improved by leaps and bounds. Give them all credit because they did what they needed to do to make it to the World Cup, and the United States didn't. And we can say, well, the talent's so much better than it was in 90 and 94 and 98 and whatever, and we can say, well, they're still much, much better than Trinidad and Tobago, and they should have taken a bit care, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And
they didn't. And the thing is, here we go. We have this $100 million surplus. Where the hell are we spending that on? We have a soccer league now. This is Major League Soccer, born in '96, and now we're not qualifying. That was the whole reason to have Major League Soccer. Back in the day with Marcelo Barbello playing for the San Francisco Bayhawks. I mean, shit, was semi-pro.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting that where we are is where we are. And absolutely, Major League Soccer has helped those Central American countries for sure. But you know what? You look at Trinidad and Tobago. They don't have the talent. Why in the hell are we not beating teams like that? Costa Rica has now become the United States in CONCACAF. That's ridiculous.
It's true.
Man, the dude that bombed on us from 30 yards out looked like an extra in the damn house party movie.
Thanks for calling, Dan.
His hairstyle is so his hair is so out of style, and that dude scored against us.
That's just
damn, dog. That's inappropriate.
That seems cruel. The guy hit a bomb. Give him credit.
No, dude, he killed it. Yeah. What's funny, I was just thinking right before that happened, I was like, this dude does not look like he can go 90 minutes. Like, that dude doesn't. I mean, you could tell that's not a 90-minute player. He didn't need it.
Yeah.
He just dropped a bomb right after that. And I was also thinking there was a metaphor the day before this game.
Yeah.
When we saw that moat around that field.
Okay.
And I saw guys getting carried across it.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Marcelo Balboa and Alexi Lalas would have had to be carried across the dang piece of water?
Yeah.
Those guys played on crap.
Look, I know what you're saying. Trust me, I do. I get it.
Get your ass across there.
No, I look, but at the same time, I think that was probably a decision made by people that were not the players. I can't believe. Are we really going to believe the players said, "Oh, I'm too fragile to walk across water"?
I don't think they said it, but the actions do.
I know it looks bad. No, I know it looks bad, and certainly the complaints about the field and the way that everybody was making a big deal out of it, it didn't bode well for the attitude for that team going into that game. It just didn't. Let's go to 419. Who's this?
Hey,
What's up, guys?
This is Giovanni.
Oh, we got two people on the line. If you're not Giovanni, hold on for a second. Giovanni, go ahead.
Giovanni, that's one of our old school callers.
Oh yeah, man, I used to listen to you guys' show all the time, man. I'm glad you guys came back for at least this time.
Yeah, man, it's not good circumstances, but it's good. It feels good to be back. What do you got, Giovanni?
Oh man, I'm so heartbroken and disappointed about what just happened, man. Yesterday, as I was watching the game, it felt so bad because watching them, the way they played, the style they played, I was lost for words, and I just wanted them to revamp the whole system. I want them to do it with Snow Gulati. I want them to start from the bottom up. I know you guys probably are not going to agree with what I'm about to say, but that even although I am a advocate for pro relegation, I mean it has to help out the system some way. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but
well, I'm going to say something about that, Giovanni.
Go ahead.
First of all, Ted's freaking loony. In addition to that, it can be on the table now. I'm okay with it.
Sure,
it can be on the table.
Sure.
I think it's never going to happen still.
Right,
but. I'll do, dude. It is. I'm so sexually frustrated right now that I'll take anything that comes my way. Anything that's gonna give me some light.
Come on.
No, I couldn't agree more, man. And then again, even today, I'm still pissed off. I'm still sad. I was telling my wife how disappointed I am to this day. Well, to right now, it's like the emotion's still there. I even though I don't know if you guys have heard about it yet, but they were speaking about how they're trying to do a replay for the Panama game. I'm not even sure if I want the USA to even go that far because of how bad they played yesterday. I don't want a replay because I want the whole system to be turned around.
Yeah. I think
you know what I was thinking last night, Jason.
Hold on.
Hold on,
Jeff.
Sorry, is Gio staying on?
Well, I want to know, Giovanni, what's your number?
Yeah.
What's the first three? What's your area code, real quick?
951.
Okay, thanks, Giovanni. I appreciate the call. I want to drop him because I want to get somebody else. But hold on, real quick. And Jared, I know you have a point, but I want to say something. Okay, we have Josie Altidore making a statement on Twitter. I know Michael Bradley answered every question that was asked to him last night after the game. I know Bruce Arena said some things. I don't agree with them. Sunil Gulati said some things after the match. We have yet to hear from U.S. Soccer. There's no response. There's no. Hey,
oh no, Jason! There was a tweet that said "heartbroken."
That doesn't count. No. No, I'm sorry. You lose. Okay, I want. And I'm not saying that I'm the person I'm not saying that Sunil Gulati needs to issue his resignation letter right now, or Bruce Arena needs to do that. It's one day, and I know they need to decompress, and I know they're depressed, but say something. Say something. Admit your failures. Say, we screwed up. This is on us. We are the custodians of this team and the legacy of the U.S. men's national team, and we've made every World Cup since 1990, and we fucked up. Say it.
Yeah,
say it.
Yeah, and Sunil, say all that in a resignation letter.
Yeah, that too. Let's go to 419. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick in Toledo.
Ah, Nick and
what up, Nick? Look at those pipes. Listen to those pipes.
on the quality equipment as well.
literally just wrapped recording our podcast. I wanted to jump in here. So if I've said something that somebody else has already said, I apologize in advance.
You're saying it for velvety.
and I know that with Jason just dropping the F-bomb, we could say some cuss words tonight. So I feel like that's what I need to do.
Yeah, hey, do it, man. We're here for the catharsis, the venting, the anger, the upset, the emotions, the pain, the sadness. I mean, you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, Nick. You know exactly how this goes.
Wow, you went there. You really went there, dude. Come on.
Sorry. Jokes are part of this too. That's part of the healing process.
That's true. So I'm glad that Jared brought up the tweet because that was bullshit. Right? That tweet was ridiculous. Heartbreak, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, I got to agree completely with Giovanni. I think they need to kind of clean house and start fresh. I know that last night after the game, Bruce was talking about not making any changes and that there's a lot of up and coming talent. Yeah, that's fine. But there are wholesale changes that need to happen within U.S. soccer,
right?
Not just from a U.S. men's national team perspective. I'm talking about all the way back down to club soccer at youth levels.
Sure.
There are wholesale changes that need to be made, and I think that needs to be up for the discussion as well.
No, it does.
It does. I'm also a pro-rel fan as well. I think that needs to be implemented in U.S. soccer. I know it'll probably never happen, but a man can dream. And I'm hoping that this is the catalyst for change in the United States for the way soccer is played, the way it's taught, the way it's coached. And no more excuses.
Okay.
Everybody needs to look at themselves in the mirror, and I hope that this exit from World Cup qualifying can wake everybody up to see that wholesale changes need to be made. I think the first change that needs to be made is that Sunil Gulati needs to resign. I think we need a fresh voice. I think new ideas need to be heard. And so that's the first place I go.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Nick in Toledo. By the way,
guys, you rocked. I miss you.
We miss you too, Nick. I mean, Nick's doing his own thing up in Toledo and a fan of FC Cincinnati, which might explain a little bit about the pro-rel part, Jared. Look, again, Sunil Gulati's resignation, yeah, he can hand that in any moment now. Again, I'm going to give him a grace period, 48 hours. We're ready. Who replaces him is a question. I know that's down the line.
I have no idea, dude. That is a level of executives that I don't understand or get. I don't know what makes you qualified. I honestly don't know what makes someone qualified for that position. Our last guy is what, economist?
Yeah.
These numbers don't add up.
No.
I don't know, man. But I think back to like 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I can't remember how long ago when Alexi had his rant.
Yeah,
and
it was like a month
I
ago.
dug it at the time. I'm thinking at this point he looks like Nostradamus,
right?
Like he knew the future here, And I that is so on point. Taylor Twellman's conversation last night, so on point.
By the way,
but I don't know that anything's going to change, dude.
Right. Well, let's hope that there's an examination and that leads to some change. I don't think there's going to be a wholesale change. By the way,
there's Mr. Robot premiering tonight. I don't even care.
I didn't even know that. I got to go check that out. By the way, how messed up was it for them to give us the false dawn of Friday night and that performance against Panama? How messed up was it that they teased us with? I mean, talk about that, Jared. They looked good. Pulisic scores, Altidore scores. They got all this energy. They took care of business when they had to, and then they go to Trinidad. The same group of guys, and look, Bruce probably should have rotated. Hindsight's 2020. The same group of guys fell flat on their face.
No,
Nothing.
dude, these are professionals, dude. They should be able to do that turnaround. There's guys that do a Saturday game, a Champions League game, and another game on Saturday. And you know what? That's just life.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue. They don't get to have that be an issue. No. What was your heart doesn't run out of energy. You have a heart still. You should still care. You should still work. And if you can't, raise your hand and say, I need a sub. Be a man enough to say that. But there's no energy, man. It's so weird. Watching Bobby Wood is just an energetic, crazy little ball of energy, and it wasn't there.
Nothing.
The hustle from all the players wasn't there. And I don't know when they watch this back, are they going to think I gave my all? Maybe they did, man. But I feel bad. I feel bad judging heart. I really, really do, because you don't know what's in these guys' hearts. And I feel terrible for Omar Gonzalez. I feel terrible for that dude. Yeah. But at the same time, I know when I see it, and I didn't see it. I mean, what I consider American, that never say die spirit. I didn't see that, man.
609, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Wayne.
What's up, Wayne? How you, man?
Nothing much. I did see the match. I wasn't on the legal stream. I actually found it on the Spanish broadcast. It was all three of the stations. I remember seeing the Panama goal, happen. I don't know if it actually went in or not.
No.
And I mean, the thing is, I've seen the Mets lose the World Series. I've seen the Flyers lose the Stanley Cup. But last night trumped all of that. It absolutely trumped all of that. And quite frankly, I was not a big fan of Bruce Arena, especially when he came in. I remember my first World Cup that I remember was watching was 2006, where he scored 2 goals, one of them an own goal by Italy.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm absolutely furious that Arena and Galati didn't resign in Port of Spain last night, because that was absolutely pathetic.
Okay.
I agree with my man right there.
Thanks for the call, Wayne.
Going back to that 2000, he said 2006, right?
Yeah, 2006.
2006. You watched that Italy game? I was proud of that game. I don't care what the result was.
Sure.
I was so damn proud of the way an American team played in that game. Brian McBride's eye gushing. Pablo Mastroianni putting his heart on the field. I can live with that. I can't live with what I saw last night.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, if you get beat by a better team, or you put in a good performance and the other team manages to get a lucky goal, maybe you take 10, 12 shots on goal, Jared, and the goalkeeper stands on his head. And the United States had a couple last night, but it wasn't enough. But maybe if you get beat by a goalkeeper who's just out of his mind, you say, you salute him and you say, you know what, we got beat. We got a beat, and it sucks, and we move on. But as you said, it was the lack of energy, it was the lack of commitment, it was the lack of passion. And again, I'm going to put this on Arena as much as I'm going to put it on the players, because those same players showed up on Friday night in Orlando. So maybe they weren't ready. Maybe the conditions weren't appropriate. Maybe they got the cleats wrong. We heard about that. I mean, you get that stuff right. Attention to detail. Prepare.
If only
your
they had been on
soccer
that field
team.
the day before.
Yeah, that too. I was going to say something I can't remember now. 408, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going? It's Chuck.
What's going on,
What up, Chuck?
What's up? So I'm a college kid. Probably grew up with the game about mid-20s. So I always defended MLS growing up, and we've had it since 2002. I've heard soccer is going to be the next big thing on the scene. And let's say early days we have Beckham coming in, and we're able to bend the rules a little bit for him, and that's understandable. We're growing the game here, but you fast forward about it's been 10 years now, and we just have the FC Dallas situation to where they don't get docked points. That's a FIFA rule. We have TAM, GAM, whatever. And, so we have that accountability issue. And we have Garber saying, I think I read in Johan Cruyff's book that he wants more control over what player selection is. And they have these TV, what else do they have? They had, when the TV numbers were tanking, I guess all the executives got in and they said they wanted, what was it, locker room cameras, right? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, something like that. I've heard those rumblings. Yeah.
Locker room cameras. So it's essentially, I've heard excuse after excuse, pivot after pivot after pivot, and I really don't have any confidence that these guys don't view this team as anything other than an investment portfolio. I mean, there's no real direction. There's not a top-down style like Landon Donovan said we should institute. Seems like it's the Wild West. Everybody wants their piece, and they're willing just to bend the rules as they go. And there's no real. I don't know what we're doing.
So Chuck, you're a college kid, right? You're the soccer guy. What was it like in your school today, being the soccer guy, and what kind of questions did you have to put up with?
So I was actually, a baseball kid growing up. I played soccer too growing up. So I'd like to think I have friends from all different perspectives. And we had a professor that actually, put up U.S. men's national team on there and said, how pathetic is it that, we can't beat Trinidad? And, it's probably like 4 or 5 girls in the class know what's going on. everybody else is like, it's whatever. Because, quite frankly, being a soccer fan in this country, you either grew up with the game and you played it, or you're foreign. And if you grew up in the game and played it, you're upper class. And there's a huge disconnect. The game's not, it cost me, like I said, my fees. I think I remember the first team, I went out to. I didn't really grow up with the game. It was all kind of me on my own. And, the first guy I talked to, he wants $200 as a practice fee to practice for the rest of the season. After that, he wants, the fees totaled up to $800 for a Class 3 competitive team. And then you look at other teams, it's $2,000, $5,000. And after that, these kids are kind of, the culture is you play on the team, you go to college, you play, and they're not really thinking about MLS. When all these, like I said, I'm in California, so all these Mexican-American kids that can absolutely destroy us, U.S. soccer has no interest in them.
Yeah.
They get lost in the shuffle, dude. I live here too. I've seen it all my life growing up. They get lost in the shuffle, and they're the most technical guys out there. But they don't got the money.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. But real quick, what's your area code? Because I want to make sure I get to the right people.
Oh, it's 408.
Okay, appreciate the call. Thanks a lot. I just want to make sure I don't hang up on somebody who's waiting. 619, you're on the air.
Oh, that's San Diego.
Hey, guys, what's up? Thanks for doing this. This is awesome. Really appreciate it. I wanted to take a different slant, or not a different slant, but move. I don't want to talk about the analysis, but that part of what is depressing about this is it's like a train wreck in slow motion. The damage happened yesterday, but the World Cup doesn't start till next year. And there's just all this time in between now and then where it feels like we don't even get to move past this until that event is over.
This is true.
There's going to be this.
This is the madness of this. Let me just tack on to what you're saying.
Oh, it's a slow burn.
We are going to be reminded of this pain over and over and over and over and over again. When the draw happens in December, when the groups get done, when Mexico starts
Jason,
talking.
It's going to be worse than that. I said it this morning. Guess what we are now? We're another team's warm-up team for a World Cup. We're the freaking soccer fluffer.
Yeah, by the way, real quick, and let you come back to your point, but this is absolutely the time when you fire all of those 28, 30-year-old guys, you fire them into the sun when it comes to international soccer. Let them go play their club football. I respect Michael Bradley. I think he was a very good player. It's not his time. And 2022 won't be his time. Just say goodbye. Say thank you very much for your service. If you want one more match to say goodbye, okay, fine. Maybe we'll accommodate you. But we need to get Tyler Adams ready. We need to get Christian Roldan ready. We need to get Kellen Acosta ready. And you're not going to be the guy anymore because you didn't get the job done.
You know what's scary about that?
Okay.
Josie's young enough to still maybe be the captain next time around because we have no striker on the horizon.
Yeah.
I want to riff off what you were saying, Jason, and say that that's another part of this mourning process that's happening is that I haven't experienced this, this process of missing the World Cup in my lifetime or my, soccer lifetime. And that it's like a friend is moving away or you're moving away from a friend. You might meet someone new, but all these faces, all the 4-year buildup, and in some cases longer, 8 years, all these familiar faces. And I remember the last, in 2014, listening to you guys, it's like this show you watch over a long spread of time. And so much of that is culminating with missing this World Cup. And so much of it has to be burnt down that all these relationships are going away. The next men's national team you will see, you'll be starting a new relationship from ground zero. It's bizarre. Anyway, thanks.
That's true. No, appreciate the call. That's true. I mean, there are a couple of guys we know. But there are going to be a host of new guys, and I'm ready for it because the pain's going to be. It's you don't want to run into your ex-girlfriend at the movies with the new guy, but it's not even a new guy because this ex-girlfriend is just going to be at the movies, maybe gorging on candy because she's got nothing else going on in her life. Jared, it's already over for her, but you still don't want to run into her because it's going to be awkward. You want to go find somebody else, right?
Dude, I want to find someone else so badly. But here's the thing. It's like knowing that your next chance of a relationship is 5 years away.
Yeah, no, that's true. 626, you're on the air.
Hey, Jason and Jared, what's going on? This is David from the Ellie is Our House podcast.
What up, buddy?
First of all, I want to say how happy I am that you guys are on the air, even if it's just for tonight. I wish I could last forever because this show inspired me and my friends to start our own podcast. But
it's awesome.
I'll tell you what this is, guys. I'll tell you what this is. This is the second act of the movie where the guy screws up, and now we're about to get into our 5-year training montage, our Rocky IV training montage, and we're going to come back, and the U.S. is going to be better for this.
So what you're saying is that we're only a snow-peaked mountain and a fur jacket away from success?
Is this on a,
that's what I'm hoping.
By the way, on this show, you can say Rocky, and that's fine, but you really should say... You should really say Karate Kid on this program, but it's okay. It's okay.
I'm okay either way. But I like the optimism, man. I like the optimism. I think this is the age difference thing right here. I'm 40. I'm at a point where I'm not in my second act anymore. I'm starting my third act. I'm maybe in my third act already. I ain't got time to finish the story. I need the results.
Yeah,
look, man, I'm right there with you. I'm 38. Like Jason said earlier, or Jared, you said earlier, my kid is 9 years old. My younger son is 3. My 8-year-old or 9-year-old isn't going to care about the next World Cup. Mm-hmm. He's going to be too busy doing whatever kids that age do.
Well, I think that we do as soccer fans, not a responsibility, but if you want to engage these people, thanks for the call, by the way. Thanks for the shout out on the podcast, inspiration, by the way. I do appreciate it. If you have a kid, if you have people in your life who may drift away because there's no U.S. team in the World Cup, point them in the direction of Messi. Argentina made it. Point them in the direction of some of these great teams that we're going to see. Brazil is so fun to watch. I don't care if you like Neymar or not. We need to be drawing our inspiration. I know it's not the same.
It's just not what I want to do.
I know it's not the same. 323, you're on the air.
Hey guys, this is Robert from LA.
What's going up, bro? Hi, man. Good to hear you, Robert. What's going on?
Yeah. Thank you. Good hearing you guys. Given the circumstances, I'm glad you're doing this. Hey, I wanted to talk about something earlier. Jared said when he said he was growing up not growing up, but he was watching 2002 and 2006 and even before that. And he said those players were gritty and they had heart. And this is something that these players don't have because there's a mindset that when the U.S. lost to Mexico in Columbus and then Costa Rica, it's almost kind of like European soccer where a team loses and then they're already in a relegation fight. And when in 2002 and 2006, those players were playing in European leagues where every game mattered. And when after they fired Klinsmann, I was like, okay, it seems like we're going to be in a relegation fight. And then when you look at this defense right now, like Matt Beasley doesn't know anything about a relegation fight or just every game matters. But back in 2006 when we had Bocanegra and Steve Cherundolo and Goose.
I think that this is results-based analysis, Robert. I mean, I get what you're trying to say. I just don't
completely do, because here's the thing, Jason. When there was Trinidad and Tobago was laying and rolling on the ground, dude. Where was the huddle of American players saying, get our shit together? This is our time. Smacking each other across the head. Get into the game. Where is that?
Yeah. No, that's missing.
You know where it was? Missing. Christian Pulisic is over whining to the ref about his not getting his calls.
Yeah. Robert, I appreciate the call, man. I want to get some other people on the line.
And I'm not bad at Christian Pulisic. The kid's 19.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. No, but there were guys in that team who had been through those fights, Jared. I mean, don't act like Michael Bradley hadn't lived it at Gladbach, at Roma, in Holland. Don't act like he hadn't done something in those moments in Europe and I don't know. Let's go to 202. Who's this?
Who do you think it is?
It's our old buddy Jonathan Tannenwald, the goalkeeper. Now,
I would be remiss if I didn't call you.
Yeah, you probably would. You're the fifth Beatle, John. I don't know. What do you say? What do you say here from your perspective?
Well, I wrote a column this morning. A lot of people read, and one of the things I said was that it's time for Sunil to be no longer the president of U.S. Soccer, and I do believe that. I think there's certainly a role for him to play with his work at FIFA and the work that he's doing there and making sure that the World Cup gets here and the reform efforts that he's doing, within that organization. But I think it's time for somebody else to take the helmet home.
Yeah.
And I don't claim to know who that person is yet. I obviously have I've read a lot about Steve Gans. I've read about some of the other folks. I've read plenty about Eric Winaldo over the years, as we all have, and I still don't know if he's running yet.
No, he doesn't know if he's running yet, John.
Well, look, I grew up in Washington, and I grew up, in the culture of politics, even if I never participated in it. And at a certain point, you're either running or you're not.
Yeah.
So he's got to make a decision at some point. Look, the column that I wrote made 3 points, the first of which was the players weren't good enough. And they weren't. It's that simple. If you lose as much as they did in the Hex, then that means the players weren't good enough. And there is this gap, as Brian Sciaretta so eloquently put it in the story that he did recently. You got a bunch of 30-year-olds and you got a bunch of 19-year-olds. People were calling for Josh Sargent to be at the World Cup in Russia before he had signed a professional contract because they had seen him on TV playing against other 17-year-olds.
Yeah, I know.
Playing against other 17-year-olds ain't the same thing as playing against, even 22 or never mind 25 or 30-year-olds. The players aren't good enough. The players from ages 24 to 28, in particular, there are how many or how few of them are there at this point at the international level? And I've looked at Darlington Nagbe in particular, who's immensely skilled, and everybody said he's got to be more selfish, he's got to do more. We keep putting him out there because of potential. I hate to say it because he's so talented, he hasn't done it.
No. Well, he doesn't. It's not potential
It's funny,
anymore.
when he's playing for the national team, he's not Darlington Nagbe.
He's Darlington Nagbe, 27-year-old MLSer. I mean, I'm not saying that the MLS part to say he can't be in the national team, but he's 27. Forget potential. But
he doesn't play like the Darlington Nagbe you see for Portland Timbers.
No, and but that's on the.
But
I think that's on the coaches.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
that's because with the Timbers, he's got Valeri and Blanco and Usman and Chara and Adi around him. He doesn't have to demand the ball. When he's with the national team, I hate to say it again, he's got to demand the ball.
Yeah,
and then he's got to do something with it.
We got with Jonathan Tanwell on the line. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask one question that's slightly off topic from this, but you just know so much about this. Jonathan, what does this do to the television broadcast rights programming in the USA this summer? What do you see the fallout being from this, and how the hell do they adjust, man? Because you have always been so plugged in on this type of this line of thought, the television side of the game. What do you think about that, and what are we going to see as a viewing experience this summer?
Well, first of all, Jared, you ain't lost the ability to be a radio show host. I'm happy to hear that. Look, I don't think Fox is going to suffer as much as a lot of other people think it will. Look, obviously, they're not going to set probably any viewership records the way they could have. As I was joking to a friend of mine, Fox did a big presentation in New York a couple of weeks ago before the final U.S. qualifiers. And I said at the time, Fox can't put all the games on the big broadcast network and promote the hell out of them. They can't put all the U.S. games on the big broadcast network and promote the hell out of them if the U.S. isn't in the thing. Well, lo and behold, the U.S. isn't in the thing. They will still post, I think, perfectly respectable, reasonable viewership figures for World Cup games that do not involve the United States. I think Telemundo will do perfectly well, if not perhaps even very well, especially if Honduras qualifies. Obviously, in terms of television, to me, as big a factor in the U.S. as the U.S. not qualifying was Argentina making it.
Yeah.
As long as Lionel Messi's there, you got something to hang your hat on. And obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo also. Fox will, as they did with the Confederations Cup, they will sort of make Mexico their home team in a lot of ways. I hope that they will give plenty of coverage to Costa Rica and Panama and Honduras as well. We will see. Obviously, the travel schedule is going to have a lot to do with that. I don't think they will suffer to the point that advertisers will get particularly angry with them in the end, because the advertisers aren't that stupid.
Okay.
But it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt all of us, and it does hurt all of us, and it's going to hurt all of us for a while. And there ain't going to be another soccer game on American television threatens the viewership record until, God willing, the U.S. women get to Paris on a Saturday in 2019 and play a World Cup game there on a Saturday night at the Parc des Princes. which is going to be a scene for the ages.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm there.
By the way, that's what we have to look forward to. John, I appreciate the call. I want to get to some of the other people that are trying to get on. Thank you very much for calling in and for being one of our biggest supporters.
Of course. Yeah, I had to call in. You know that. Talk to them.
John Tannenwald from Philly.com. That's what we got next, Jared. You don't get a meaningful game for American soccer until the summer of 2019, and when
World Cup?
when the Women's World Cup, and when the Gold Cup comes around that summer. That's it. That's the next time we're going to get competitive soccer in the United States for our men's.
I really hope Christian Pulisic does well in the Champions League then, because I need something to watch.
Yeah, let's go to 919. Who's this?
Hey guys, this is your boy Phil.
What's up, Phil?
So you guys know that I have a seething hatred of Jurgen Klinsmann and have had for years. So his tenure kind of made me a little bit more apathetic to the national team than I had been previously.
Mm-hmm.
So last night, as I'm watching the game, I'm like, I'm like you guys, where you sit back and watch and you don't want to criticize effort, because effort, like Jared said earlier, effort's not something you can tell that somebody's giving due to what's inside them, how hard they're going and things like that. But when you're watching last night's game, I think that was the most disappointing thing to me.
Yeah.
Because with 15, 20 minutes left in the game, you're still losing. They had to have been getting the scores from the sidelines, otherwise somebody wasn't doing their job on the sidelines.
But why did they need them, Phil? Why the hell would they need the scores from the sidelines? Win the stupid game.
Yeah.
Win the game.
Yeah, no, that's my point. But still, even with that, 15, 20 minutes left, you're still losing. You have to be getting information that, hey, you can't lose this game. And there was still, at least to me, there wasn't an increase from any player on that field in their effort. It didn't feel like they were going as hard as they needed to go. Specifically, like I think you talked about earlier, Bobby Wood. When you watch Bundesliga games, Bobby Wood he'll run through a brick wall. He can't finish worth shit, but he'll run through a brick wall.
Sure.
And I didn't feel like he was doing that at all. And to me, I'm like, you guys, like, this was the must-win game. Like, you knew, like, going into win and you're in. I mean, that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. As long as you get there, I don't care how you get there, just get there. Like, that's the important thing.
I do want to throw one thing out there. I don't want to be unfair and not be consistent. DeAndre Yedlin worked hard, I think.
He did. No, there was a couple of guys.
Yedlin was
there were a couple of guys.
Diving in front of balls. Last two games, he saved our butt. I want to throw a shout out there to DeAndre Yedlin.
I feel like the back four ran their ass off, but they also ran like chickens with their head cut off for the entire game.
Wow, Omar, come on.
Then,
I mean, Omar, Omar's going to be reliving that moment.
That is the most Omar thing that could have happened.
It's so Omar, and it's simple. And you heard Carlos Bocanegra on BN Sports say it. Why are you opening up your body when that ball's coming in? Why aren't you touch tight, turned away from goal, so if you do make contact with that ball, where is it going?
As a guy that played defense in my whole life, like that whole thing Bocanegra just said just like made me hard. I mean, that is like talking dirty to me, and he's right. He's right. It's just a guy that...
And then with Tim Howard, I'm just really hoping that somebody has the guts to just take Tim out behind the woodshed and old yeller him at this point.
For what purpose does that serve? He's done.
No, he's done. I mean, you don't need. He can go back to Colorado, clock his checks, and that's it. And again, one of the sad things about this, Phil, is that we have to say goodbye to these guys by kicking them out the door. Not thank you for your time, thank you for everything you've done for the national team. You've been a hero, Tim Howard. Let's remember Belgium and what you did, and all those games you won in the Hex, and Michael Bradley, and even to a certain extent Josie Altidore, although he's only 27, so who knows. These guys, it's going to be like, it's not going to be like, oh, we're honoring your service and how much you helped American soccer. It's basically like, get out and don't come back because we're done with you. And it's natural feeling.
It's unfortunately unceremonious, but it's accurate.
Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to touch on. To me, regarding, because Arena was going to be done after the World Cup, but so I mean he's done now. But to me, I feel like if you don't have a slam dunk, 100% ready to go coaching hire, I think you just promote one of the assistants to an interim for the November games, or don't play the games. Don't just hire somebody in a hurry to get somebody in the job. Like take your time. Whoever's doing the hiring, and if you have to play like November games and do them at home and send off those old guys, just be like, hey, here's your last run out. Like,
yeah,
cool.
That's it. Yeah,
like a send off match. Like that's fine to me if it's an assistant coach, because you don't want to rush into hiring a new coach just to get one in without actually taking the time, making sure it's the right hire, because that person's building your future. Because remember, CONCACAF is completely restructuring the qualifying for the next World Cup to make it easier for us to get in. So you're not playing Mexico anymore in the World Cup qualifying. So the only good games against Mexico you're going to get are going to be in the Gold Cup.
Yeah. No.
And you may not get put with Costa Rica in a World Cup qualifying group either. So
no, there's nothing left. I mean, that's the thing. The world. Thanks for the call, Phil. I do appreciate it, man. Lots of good stuff. The world is changing, and it's going to be more difficult for the United States. And look, I know we overrated Klinsmann beating Germany and the Netherlands in Europe, Jared. Remember that time? Remember those times? Remember back in the day when, Jurgen Klinsmann was in charge and everybody was excited because we beat those two teams in Europe? You're not going to get those games anymore. So I don't even know how you test this team going forward, how you blood these new guys when getting those international friendlies, because you're not going to be playing competitive matches. I don't know how you do it. 510, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Bob. I'd kind of like to respond to a few things that people have said, not in a hostile way.
Okay.
But let me start with Jonathan Tannenwald. I think this idea that people are calling for Josh Sargent is a bit of a straw man. I mean, I'm sure there's some crazy people on the internet calling for him. But, I mean, is it really that nuts to have been calling for, say, Jonathan Gonzalez?
You're bringing a 17-year-old unproven kid into a World Cup qualifier with the whole tournament on the line. Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Well, I would expect that attitude from a Bruce Arena fanboy, but I don't know if that's the case. Look what it's done for Bruce Arena in the last two cycles he's managed this team. Okay, it hasn't quite worked out, has it?
Yeah, but that's not fair to say, though, because Bruce Arena's the guy that brought DeMar Conley Donovan in 2002.
Then maybe you can handle Trinidad and Tobago. Just maybe you can handle Trinidad and Tobago putting out a C team in a game that doesn't even matter to them, where there's 3,000 people in the stands.
Bob, hold on, okay?
Yeah?
We want you to get your piece in, okay? But I can't have you and Jared talking over one another.
If you're going to take a shot at me, you're going to let me defend myself.
Right, you took a shot at Jared, so let's let Jared defend himself on the Bruce Arena shot. Go ahead, Jared.
Okay, so you can't simultaneously say Bruce Arena isn't the guy that can bring a 17-year-old guy in when he brought in two 17-year-olds in 2002 and brought DeMarcus Beasley and Landon Donovan in crucial in World Cup in the end of the Cap Cupcake and brought them to the World Cup and actually played them. Okay, you can't have it
You're
both
living
ways.
in 2002. You're living in 2002. What about 2006 and 2018?
So you get to do that anytime you want when an argument doesn't fit you.
Okay, all right.
And he brought them into a tournament before.
Can I say something?
The World Cup.
Can I say something?
That wasn't a situation that existed here.
Hold on.
Because that's what you do with 17-year-olds.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to say something real quick, okay?
We're not even talking about 17-year-olds. We're talking about guys who are older than 17.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just say something.
Again, not Josh Sargent.
Let's just say something. In retrospect, Bruce Arena did a bad job. Okay, he did a bad job. He did not qualify the team for the World Cup. That was the task that was given to him when he took over after Jurgen Klinsmann got fired. Okay, this isn't about Klinsmann either. This is about Bruce Arena.
No. Hey, and look, I don't know that Jurgen Klinsmann would have done much better. Okay, fortunately, those are not the only two coaching options on this planet.
Right? No, I'm not saying you said that.
We'd be in real trouble.
I'm simply going to say that the it's done. The deed. Well, the deed is undone. Right. Qualifying for the World Cup is undone.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. We're Monday morning quarterbacking, and it's not even Monday morning quarterbacking. Plenty of people were upset by the roster. You're bringing in guys. Sure. You're bringing in Chris Wondolowski, who the last time he scored a goal in a meaningful game was against Belize in the 2013 Gold Cup. In the group stage.
Look, he got it wrong.
Okay? But the last time he scored a meaningful goal.
Bob, you got it wrong.
And then, hold on, and then people dismissed it. Oh, it doesn't matter. He's going to be on the end of the bench. And then, you know what? We need to score a goal. And you're having the announcer say, let's look on the bench. Who are our offensive players? Okay, we have Chris Wondolowski available. So you're going to, I mean, that's the option Bruce Arena gave himself, is a guy who last scored in a competitive match in 2013 against the Leafs.
But at the same time, if you're arguing for Jurgen Klinsmann, I don't know that you are or not, but it feels like you are. Jurgen Klinsmann is bringing the same guy to every day in tournament, too.
Chris
Wondolowski as well.
Chris Wondolowski earned his way into the national team by impressing coaches. Okay, and it's not for you and I. We can say that it's a dumb decision, but he kept getting called in by Jurgen Klinsmann, by Bruce Arena, and was he the best option there? But no, but people, by the way, people hate on Chris Wondolowski in a way that is not fair to Chris Wondolowski. Now, I know he missed the sitter against Belgium.
The problem is fans appreciate the sexy. And don't get me wrong, he's easy on the eyes, but not when he's on the soccer field.
I recognize that, Jared. But the guy scores. Look, the guy scores goals, and you only have so much information to go upon.
He scores goals for your San Jose Earthquakes.
Sure he does. But, okay, who else was out there? I mean, I let Bob go because...
Which is part of Bob's issue, though, is that's the guy we bring. So listen, I get where Bob's coming from. Like, why do you bring Chris Wondolowski when there's other options out there? Bring someone that has something that can bring someone that's less proven but more upside. I get it, but at the same time, there's something about Chris Wondolowski, what he brings to the team that multiple coaches have liked. I don't get it.
No, okay, but
I don't get it.
But again, it's easy, and it's easy after the fact to say, well, you never should have called Chris Wondolowski. The fact of the matter is there weren't obvious choices to replace Chris Wondolowski in the roster. Who was the guy? Dom Dwyer?
I didn't come out of retirement for this, Jason.
Okay, Dom Dwyer's the guy? Do you think Dom Dwyer was the guy?
I think he would be a better choice than Chris Wondolowski, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. 248, you're on the air. Who's this?
Yo, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
This is Ish in New York. Good to see you guys. Good to hear you guys again.
Right on, brother.
I just wanted to say, I hope over the next 2 years we don't look at anyone over the age of 28. You make Josie Altidore captain. If you're over 28, you're no longer part of this team. Maybe in the 2020 Copa America, if we can go, you call in Michael Bradley if you need someone. But let the kids play. Put McKennie and Gonzalez in the midfield. Put Horvath in goal. Let Miazga be a center back. And they might get smoked against Mexico in the Gold Cup, but who really cares? Honestly,
right.
We've won the Gold Cups. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I do want to say about the Gold Cup.
To that point, real quick, I just want to say, again, I hope people are ready for the pain. I hope let's just reiterate this, and I hope you're okay, not just ready for the pain, willing to accept the pain, but sort of revel in the pain that's going to come if they do make the type of changes we want to see, which is to go young and give these U20s, U17 kids an opportunity at the senior level to show that there's another level of talent. And they're going to get beat or they're going to get whacked around or they're going to fail in moments. And if we're going to be really honest with ourselves about their potential, we have to give them a chance to fail. And go ahead. I just want to make sure that's clear for people.
No, that's exactly right. Because, I would just want to say, we win the Gold Cup and, it's great for, a week. But, I don't remember the Gold Cup. I remember that goal that John Brooks scored in the World Cup. That's what I remember, And, if Miazga is out there and Brooks is out there and Eric Malperbaum are out there and, Corona's smoking them in a Gold Cup final, that's fine. Get them that experience, that's okay. Because it might, you never know what they're going to do in 2022. And that really is the most important thing.
Okay. All right, I appreciate the phone call.
You just said 2022. Yeah. God, that sounds so far away.
So we're gonna be so old, Jared. I'm already gray in some serious places. Not my hair. Actually, my hair looks good. It's the beard.
Dude, I'm the opposite, dude. I'm getting up top, and I'm like a 13-year-old down below.
310. You're on the air.
Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Go ahead. 310 first. Go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Lexi.
Oh, Lexi Lawless.
Yeah.
I know Alexi.
I love it.
I know our man Alexi was doing a Periscope, so I'm sure he's already expressed a lot of this 24 hours later. But Alexi, what you got left?
Well, first off, I apologize. I had no idea that this was happening. In a dark day that it is, this is a shining beacon and a light that I did not expect. And so welcome back. If it's just for the night, so be it. But I missed you guys. It is so good that it had to happen under such circumstances. The only good thing to come out of what happened last night is that this show is back here, at least for one night and one night only. So I missed you guys. How are you?
It's a one-night stand, Alexi. It's a one-night stand, but it's a hell of one so far. But listen, dude, I want to jump off and first let you know everything you said a couple weeks ago. And I know you got some flack. You were right. And if people don't see that in hindsight, I know it's a hard thing to take anything good from any of this, but is there a selfish part of you that's like, I told you guys?
No, I take no joy in if you say being right. Look, it was, and we've talked about this, Jason, before. It was obviously a very emotional type of reaction, and almost just a pleading, if you will, to not let this opportunity go by and to recognize the responsibility. And I'm gutted today. I am so sad and gutted. But there was a moment today where I smiled, and a blanket of optimism and joy came up. And that is because of something that you guys have tapped into for years now, and you guys recognize that this American soccer family and community and culture that we have, that is so unique, that cares so much, that is passionate, that is discerning, that I would say is also, I would argue, one of the most intelligent and educated out there because of the fact that we're constantly comparing and contrasting. And that's what gives me hope, because we will come back stronger. This is not something that we needed, but recognize it's happened, and there is an opportunity here to come back stronger, fix some of the things that are wrong, ask some of the questions that maybe we haven't asked or we just don't like to answer. And because of that strength, and because of that passion, and because of that unity, if you will, I have great faith that we will come back stronger. And this will be a moment where we will look back and say, let's not do that again, and let's not let this moment pass us by again. Because ultimately, next summer, when we are sitting there watching the World Cup, I'm working the World Cup. I'm not happy about the U.S. not being there, so I got a job to do, and it's still a World Cup, and I'm incredibly privileged to be able to do it. But we have wasted that platform and that opportunity, and let it never happen again.
Well, Alexi, it's one of the things the themes we've been talking about tonight, and you'll probably understand this better than most because of being one of the icons of the sport in this country. All of us listening, all of us talking on the show today, all of us talking on Twitter, we're that soccer guy at work, and it's a tough day to be the soccer guy. And what's it like for you being one of the soccer guys in the country? Like, what do we tell people when they say what happened?
Can I spin this a little bit, Alexi? What do you say? What do you say to Colin Cowherd now?
So I was doing his show today, and he was all up in arms. And look, when this happens, a lot of people that aren't necessarily the day in and day out type of soccer guys and geeks that we are come out, and that's the problem. Because we have these moments and these opportunities when we can form perception and change perception in some cases, both domestically and internationally. And when this happens, it just gives people fuel to say, well, soccer isn't good, and we're not good, and we're not doing the right thing. Look, a lot of the stuff that's come out today, and I don't know how much of you guys have heard of it on this show or just in general today, is we got to blow it up, and the system's broken, and everything that we've done is wrong. I don't agree with that. I'm not sure that's necessarily constructive, but this is an opportunity to look at what we are and look at maybe even look at what we're not right now. But when I talk to Colin Cowherd, I don't have the answers to this magic wand that I can wave, and then all of a sudden we are going to win the World Cup. But let's not throw babies out with the bathwater, and let's also not throw out everything and all the good stuff that has happened. And just because that the ball didn't go in the other day and last night, and we didn't go to the World Cup, doesn't mean that we have no clue what we're doing, and that there is no quality either on or off the field, and that we are heading in the completely wrong direction. Yeah, it hurts, and yes, there has to be a reckoning, and yes, people legitimately should be held accountable. But this U.S. soccer community, we kick ourselves often, and at times we also have to pat ourselves on the back and be, I guess, kinder to ourselves. And it doesn't mean complacent, and it doesn't mean that we don't want more, and it doesn't mean we don't put pressure to do more. But it also means that we do have some perspective as to how far we've come in a pretty short period of time when you look at it and you put it up against other countries, other cultures, and certainly other sports.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with any. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around just how much of a blowing up situation this actually is. I do think it's sort of a diversion and a distraction to start talking about youth soccer after the senior national team fails to win a game in Trinidad, Jared. But I also get the instinct, right? I understand why people are talking about this stuff.
Well, I do want to ask Lexi one quick question.
But when I tell you guys,
stuff going on in his own personal life. But one quick question.
Hold on. Everybody's talking at the same time. Alexi wanted to jump in. Go ahead, Alexi.
Just want to say, when someone comes out and says pay to play is bad, well, no kidding. I mean, tell me something I don't know. We get it. I would love that every kid in the country, if he or she wanted to play soccer, that they could play it for free. Okay, you don't want to have pay to play. Okay, fine. Somebody has got to pay for the change that taking away pay to play happens. When you talk about that system, so a lot of these things, it's just, we're screaming and yelling about different things. It's not that we don't know. It's not that we don't understand. I mean, the size of our country, the diversity of our country makes it incredibly challenging to put together a good team. When people are throwing in Iceland, we're not Iceland, okay? I mean, the difference it is that apples and oranges when you're comparing us to Iceland. So Iceland did this or Germany did this. Well, you know what? We're not Iceland and we're not Germany, and it doesn't mean that we can't look to other people for good ideas and we can't try to implement stuff. But it also doesn't mean that just because it worked someplace else, automatically it's going to work here.
I want to ask Leslie, I have you one small, quick question before we let you go. So I know you got plenty to do tonight. If for some reason, if Sunil Gulati steps down, and just a hypothetical, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I don't even know what the right type of qualifications are for the next U.S. Soccer Federation president if we do go that direction. What are some names that are out there that people should start familiarizing themselves with? Or what are the kind of qualifications? Is it a player? Is it an executive? Like, what makes someone right for this job?
Wait, do you mean the job that Sunil has or the job of the head coach?
Yes, Sunil's.
Yeah, I mean, look, once again, do you get rid of Sunil Gulati just because the U.S. didn't make the World Cup? If that's your criteria, then it's pretty simple. Yes, you do. But do you take into account what has happened under Sunil Gulati's watch? And I know there's people out there that think more should have happened, but even his fiercest critics, and I've disagreed with Sunil on a lot of different things, but even his fiercest critics, they have to at least, if they are even somewhat objective, be able to step back and look at the progress that the Federation has made. Should things have happened on the field that you want? Yeah, okay. But in general, what the Federation is today, as opposed to when he took over, I think you have to give him some credit. So does he get any credit for that, or is it just about making the World Cup and you just want to change? No, that's fine. So I know I'm not answering your question, but I will right now. Ultimately, I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Somebody that has a plan, somebody that can come in and articulate and define, not just privately, but publicly to all of us, exactly what we are going to do and what we are going to look like as a soccer-playing nation. This is how we want to play. This is our style. These are the type of players that we are going to identify. And then that person obviously hires the person that is going to go about fulfilling that. And maybe I'm talking more about a technical director in this capacity, because Sunil Gulati does a whole lot of other stuff that people don't see that impacts the success of the United States Soccer Federation. But ultimately, having somebody come in that, like I said, can articulate that, and in doing so, recognizing that there are going to be people that don't fit into that. And we have to be okay with that. You got to adjust, because we try to be everything to everybody. And it's just a waste of time and resource and energy.
It's tough. Look, I think the one thing that's happened here, and Lexi, I appreciate the call, is Sunil Gulati's job went from something that didn't require or wasn't subject to a ton of public scrutiny to one that is now subject to a ton of public scrutiny. It's both because of the rise of soccer and the popularity of the national team and all of those things, but also because of this failure last night is now highly public that Sunil Gulati is the president of U.S. Soccer when the United States failed to make a World Cup for the first time since '86. So, it almost necessitates a change, if only because it's a signal to everybody that we're still moving in some sort of ambitious direction, even if it's not completely fair to Sunil Gulati based on the body of his work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're saying you want to change for change.
I'm not saying that.
And I'm saying, look, there are. Yeah, you are. You just said that.
No, I've said
if
that's
it's not on his body of work, and it's just on making the World Cup.
Well, no, but he is also accountable for these moments. He's accountable for the decisions he made with the coaches or the direction he pushed the program in with coaches and with technical directions and all of those things. So this is on his ledger. So I want to change because Sunil Gulati failed to deliver a World Cup in 2018.
Got it. And that is completely legitimate. And that discussion has to take place. And look, I bet you Sunil Gulati, I mean, I don't think, despite the people that came over the last couple of weeks and have said that they want to run against Sunil Gulati, my guess is that no matter who came up, if they had made the World Cup, he still would have had the votes to win and have another term. But after what happened last night, look, the first thing that anybody's going to say in any type of debate or any type of back and forth is, what happened? The U.S. isn't in Russia. Boom, right there. And Sunil Gulati is going to have to answer for it. Is that fair? It doesn't matter if it's fair or not. It's the reality of what he is going to have to answer for, and he's going to have a valid explanation as to why the U.S. Soccer Federation in 2017, after not making the World Cup for the first time since 1986, from a men's perspective, why it is still the proper course of action to continue with Sunil Gulati. And I think that's a hard thing right now, given all the emotion and all the passion that's going on right now. And as I said, I don't know if he is or not, but I would be very interested to see how he goes about fixing this with that heightened scrutiny now that we're talking about right now. And given the background that he has and the experience and the good stuff that he's done, but also with what this has happened, how he goes about rectifying this situation.
Yep, that's where it is. Alexi Lalas. It's only fitting that the
gentlemen. I love you. This too shall pass. I'm so glad to hear you guys back together. And as I said before, to the American soccer community and family out there, I love you. Onward and upward. Certainly continue with the incredible faith and caring that is out there. It's a wonderful sport. It's ours. Don't apologize for it, and we will come back bigger and better when it comes to the men's team. And look, we're still world champions.
Yeah, we are. We're world champions. The United States of America, world champions. Alexi, appreciate the call. Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Today. All right. We did have somebody else there on the line hanging out while Alexi was on. Who's with us still?
Hey, guys. It's Luke. I am like Cincinnati.
Okay.
And this is why I kind of think that it's like, I know that like we do have a lot of people who think that this isn't going to hurt the sport, but I don't think FCC happens without the 2014 World Cup. And I think our team, I think that we have a firm like fan base here, but what I am concerned about is those other small town teams that could have had more interest after World Cup that now isn't going to happen.
But is that predicated by the U.S. being in it, though? Can't they still get to that point by watching high-quality soccer next summer?
I don't see, because what's really crazy about it here is it's not diehard like soccer fans. I mean, you do have that, but why you're getting 25,000 people to like an Open Cup game is because you have my wife who like could like care less, but now because of the World Cup goes, oh, well, this is kind of fun. I'll go, and then like has a blast.
Man, I was worried where that was going. Like you're like, the reason there's 25,000 people is because of my wife. I thought maybe she was flashing or something.
All right.
No, we're like in our 30s, so it's like incredibly boring now. But
oh, I've been there.
But I think that there's this element to like in spots where 4 or 5 years ago, no one here even knows what the Open Cup is, and like we're all dying to get back into it now. And I think one of the reasons why what like kind of piqued their like interest was the U.S. team in the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah,
and I think that could be gone for other areas.
Look, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. The knock-on effect of missing a World Cup and how many fans are going to not become soccer fans, how many sports fans are not going to become soccer fans now, how many people are not going to find that entry point. I mean, certainly it's true. I mean, my origin story really is I played as a kid, but it's 2002, Jared. It's the run and getting up early in the morning to watch the games in the Far East and all that stuff. And I know a lot of people have that story, but we are also in a more mature and sort of, I don't mean mature like it's a good thing necessarily. It's just been around for a while. We're in a mature soccer environment where there's so much soccer available to you on television, not just obviously international, but the club game, that I don't even know if it's the same sort of impact anymore. I don't know if we're gonna get, we might still have people in bars hanging out watching the national team, but things aren't predicated on Landon Donovan scoring against Algeria and everybody watching people throw beer in the air in bars.
God, that sounds so much fun right now.
It does sound fun. I turned off the phone number for the live stream. I took the phone number down because I wanted us to stretch our legs a little bit before we wrap, because I think this is, as we hit about 90 minutes, an appropriate time to maybe just take a deep breath, because it's been rapid fire, and I am glad that we gave everybody an opportunity that we could to get on the air and vent and give their opinions and talk about blowing it up, or Sunil Gulati resigning, which he should. I mean, he should resign. Bruce Arena should have probably already resigned, but okay, fine, give him 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know what goes into these things. I don't know what his contract is. I'm sure there's some stuff to get worked out, and either way, he's not going to be there. I don't think he wants this job really going forward after this. I don't know why he would want it, and I don't know why U.S. Soccer would want either. It was always going to be a stopgap thing. Here's
the question, and maybe we'll finish out with this, and it's probably a down the line question. But you heard somebody earlier, I think it was Phil. Don't hire somebody, or don't make another stopgap choice in November. Maybe let Tab run things for a while, and then do a search. And I'm not saying that Tab doesn't get the job.
Wait after the World Cup. I mean, you might be able to grab someone on the back end of that.
Well, that's true too. But you have a year between now and then. Okay, here's the question, and this came up when I was doing a show with Dunny the other day, or last night after the match. Do we even do Camp Cupcake? Do we bother?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I mean, I don't see what we gain from it. I don't know, but those guys come into the season stronger, I guess. But it's not U.S. Soccer's position to get guys ready for their preseason. Yeah. What are they? I don't know. God, that's a weird question, man. I really don't know. I almost feel like just let the guys just do their own thing for a while, and come back to this and revisit it in the spring sometime, or in 2 years. I don't even know. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
This is uncharted territory. I don't know what to do.
No, I don't either.
And even if you bring him in, why bring him in for a coach? Let's say it's Arena, or let's say it's Tab Ramos filling in. What are you really accomplishing? Because either of those guys really going to be the coach next year?
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, wake up tomorrow morning early. I don't remember what time it's on. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern, so it's super early for you, Jared. But
wake up, they're replaying it.
Wake up early and watch the U17s against Colombia at the World Cup in India. So because they're 2-0 right now, they have a chance to win the group. They're probably going to win the group, and then we'll see what they do in the knockout rounds. And that's all we got. I mean, it's not as good as the senior team, obviously, but it's all we got. Do you want to do anything for old time's sake before we wrap this up? Do you want to ask anybody if they want to, maybe in the chat, if they want something specific? I don't know. I just want to give people some joy here before we roll.
Let's see. What can we do?
How about this?
You did miss the chance earlier. There's a couple drops that you didn't get in, and I gave you cues for, and this just shows how rusty you are.
I'm rusty, man.
I gave you a fantastic Eddie Johnson. I put it up on the platter, and what didn't you play?
I didn't.
Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, I didn't play it.
I mean, you missed it like we're Chris Wondolowski sitter, man.
As I already told you, there's no opportunity to play some of this.
Damn, dog, that's in a propes. Danger zone.
Okay, that fits. So you can do that. Obviously I added some stuff tonight.
You know what really sucks though? What? Everything.
Darkness, everybody.
I mean, that stuff's fine, but when am I going to play this? No reason.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, when Roman Torres scores a goal,
when the kid scores from 40 yards on Tim Howard, I have to play this.
Thinking about that shot for a second, you know what I thought in that moment when that goal went in?
What?
Nick Raimondo saves that.
Nick Raimondo's 5'10", but okay.
I don't care. He leaps like a freaking leopard.
Yeah. No, I know.
He makes spectacular saves. I don't know if he makes the other kick save that Tim Howard does later in the game.
Yeah.
But holy crap, that's what I was thinking that moment. But who's going to be our goalkeeper?
I don't know.
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls in the locker room?
Jonathan Klinsmann?
That's what Tim Howard should be doing now.
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls in the locker room?
I mean, I don't know.
He does do that.
I don't know his life. Did you just did you just do that for real? Okay, all right.
Just say I know at least a groupie out here in LA.
I know some people. I know some people who know some people.
I'm saying I know a groupie.
I know some people who know some people.
Duh and or hello.
At that, not at playing goalkeeper anymore. I don't know. What else? What else do we got here? I mean, how about this? You know, one of the people who's out there leading the charge, and I want to say I am happy that we have a generation of former U.S. men's national team players, not just Alexi and Eric Winalda and John Harkes in that group, but guys like Stu Holden, guys like they are, and Taylor Twellman, calling out this program. You know, guys who are saying this is nonsense, this is crap, this isn't good enough.
They're actually good at what they do too, especially Herc.
Yeah, I think Herc's really good. Yep. Absolutely. All right. I don't know. What else? Anything you want to?
I don't know, man. I mean, John O'Brien didn't die for this.
No. That's so. John O'Brien is doing something with his life somewhere. I don't even know.
John O'Brien somewhere is founding a company that gives back to Costa Rican clean water.
Probably.
And at the same time selling like chanclas.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's doing something amazing and yet somehow odd at the same time. I guarantee it.
By the way, do I not have the old school Michael Orozco Fiscal drop on my board anymore? I did have that at some point,
right? Person whose conscience is clean.
Yeah, what did he do to
the guy scored in Azteca, for God's sake?
I can't find it. I got this one though. I always love this one. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta click it. Let's see. Oh, it didn't play. Maybe this way.
Someone seems to think you have talent. But unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars.
By the way, you missed out on some sweet, sweet money, son. I got another royalty check from that, and you didn't because you moved.
I got to call them or something. I mean, I don't know. How much am I chasing down?
What I say it was like a sweet $27.
Man, that's like 2 lunches, during the week. That's
dude. That's I mean, it's not like that first check. The first check was nice.
That first check was real nice for about 10 minutes worth of work back in the day.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I mean, I was like, oh my God, no wonder these people would love this lifestyle and doing these things.
Yeah.
Treat yourself 2011.
All right, I'm just having fun with the board. All right. We love all the people. I'm glad. Thank you for watching.
I just real quick, I do want to say it has been really fun the last 24 hours seeing how excited people got that we were going to do the show. It got me really into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, it's a one-night stand. I'm not in a position to prioritize this in my life without a significant fiscal, something fiscal attached to it.
Well, maybe there's something to talk about there. But
apologies, I will be honest, and apologies to Mr. Trevor Hayward if he's mad at everything we did this. It's a one-off. It's a goof. We're just having some fun.
It's fun.
And it's also in respect to him as well because he helped us make all this. And it's a testament to what we built together that 2 years since we stopped doing this show that we still had no problem getting as many callers as we needed tonight.
Yeah.
Inside jokes, drops. It's fantastic talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, if you're listening to this after the fact on podcast, send us a message and just tell us if you liked it. We about 200 people watching on YouTube, which considering the short run up and everything else, I'm okay with. It's just, we have a really committed group of people that still talk about Best Soccer Show with us every now and then. And again, I appreciate every single one of you guys.
And honestly, the best thing going out of this is the fact that you have a show 5 days a week, and I support you to the end. Anyone that ever thinks that there's any bitterness like that, I love my boy. I'm glad he's doing what he does every day,
appreciate it,
and I love him, and I wish you nothing but the best, buddy.
So, are you going to call me for a one night stand? You're going to call me tomorrow, right? You're not going to just Well,
I mean, this. You know what this is, right?
You're going to text me at least.
I just love your doggy style.
Can I get it? All
right. Wait. In that scenario, I'm the one. Never mind.
All right. The last thing is, I know you didn't want to make the joke because you got Twitter run, and I actually saw somebody else make a variation, which I'm guessing they stole from you. The Ancestry.com joke. I enjoyed that joke. I think
it's funny. That was just kind of like a throwaway thing, too. I don't even think that was good work. But, man, holy crap, that's one of the biggest, running things I've had, in terms of likes and retweets. And here's what happens. Any tweet that both Brian Dunseth and Sean Francis retweet, you're gold. It's like being touched by the Pope.
You have been you've been given the blessings.
It's like there's like a committee of people who wear good sneakers, and they come around and say this tweet is okay.
That's right. They worked at MTV. They got good sneakers. They They still spike their hair.
By the way, I want to know, Brian Dunson, if you're hearing this, what product do you put in your hair? Because oh my God, I'm jealous.
I know Dunny's hair and Dunny's shoes. Shoe game on point. Hair always looking good. He's making new babies. Did you know that? Did you know he's making new babies?
Yes, dude. And it's like we've matched like every time we've had kids, right? Like we're like always in the same cycle.
And you got
I'm thinking, oh man, I hope this snipping worked.
You got the snip. Oh, so last things last. If this is going to go up on the Slop Culture podcast feed, so if you're new to that show, like it's going to be there for people who missed it live that are Best Soccer Show listeners. We do Slop Culture, I don't know, every couple of weeks. We gotten a little bit better with it.
You like it?
It's about pop culture. It's not about soccer. We just have some fun. We shoot the shit. We talk about Jared's vasectomy. We talk about my dance skills. It's it's just us. It's
still
not
improving through photographic evidence.
This is true. You'll get there. You'll see it. All right. So anyway, go check out Slop Culture. It's on iTunes. You can't miss it. Slop Culture Pod on Twitter. Slop Culture Pod on Facebook, like it and all that stuff. And yeah, we love you people. Anything else?
Love you guys.
All right, guys. We are out of here. Thanks a lot.
Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Duh and or hello.
Danger zone!
I'm Epic Win.
You know what really sucks, though?
What?
Everything.
Oh, it's incredible! Oh, it's incredible! Oh, baby!
I am Mikkel Mornsen på Søndagsskere.
Jay Rodius.